Dear Thầy, dear Sangha, this time we continue with a different subject. We will examine together the Tenet number 30 in the collection of 40 Tenets written by Thầy. When I first saw the word Tenet, I have thought of the word axiom, because in Vietnamese, Thầy used the word định đề. The 40 Tenets published on the Plum Village website represent a collection of understanding, and more than that, a collection of insight, presented in a very concise way, expressing Thay's view of the Buddha teaching over almost 80 years of diligent practice as a monk, since the time Thay was enrolled as a novice monk at the Hill Temple when he was 16 years old, until today. Each tenet was explained by Thầy during a winter retreat in Thailand, and I was very fortunate to receive a book by my friend in Vietnam explaining all these tenets in Vietnamese, and the book reflects what Thầy has taught in Thailand. But even that, with the book, it was not obvious to me at all to understand the explanations for the 40 tenets. It's even that, yes, very difficult. So I have decided to pick tenet number 30 to go through it with you tonight, because this one tenet seemed to me as the easiest one to understand. So please bear with me. Let's first talking about the Dharma. The word Dharma here is not Dharma with a capital D. The Dharma with a capital D usually mean the Buddha's teaching. But here, Dharma with a small d is mostly about the objects of our recognition, of our sensing, of our perception. I will have a chance to talk more about this definition in our next slide, but right now let's move to the next slide so we can see how our six senses organs work. So we have the six sense organs which are open to the world: our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And we are confronted or mostly exposed to the objects, which are the form, the sound, the fragrance, the taste, the body contact, and the Dharma. We will come back to this definition later. The action of the eyes contacting the form give rise to a visual consciousness, and so on and so forth. You have visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, tactile, and mental consciousness. So here we move to a broader definition of the Dharma with a small d by Thầy. According to Thầy, all phenomena, whether they are physiological, such as our breath, our brain, our sensory organs, or psychological, such as our feeling, our sense, our cognition, or physical, such as the clouds, the rivers, the mountains, they are all objects of the mind, and they are called the Dharma with a small d, and this is quite clear as a definition. So now we move on to the next one. As you already know, the Sutra of the Four Establishments of Mindfulness defines the four places where we used to attach our mindful breathing to the address where we go. For example, here we have the body, the feeling, the mind. All these three components form what I would like to call for the moment the self or the subject. And then we have the Dharma, which are the object of the mind. In our daily life, we are caught in thinking that the Dharma exists independently of our mind. In reality, they are not. So we are usually caught in two grasping. First, we think that there is a separate and independent entity called a self. And we also think that the Dharma that was perceived is also independent. But that is wrong. According to the Buddhist teaching, self and Dharma are both the simultaneous manifestation of the mind consciousness. So let's move to the next slide. And I repeat that self and Dharma are both the simultaneous manifestations of our mind consciousness. If you stand on the side of the subject, for example, of perception, we can clearly see the changing of the mind consciousness in every fraction of a second. We cannot catch our consciousness, not at all. In the West from the 19th century, there was people saying that the consciousness behaved like a cinematographic nature. It is like a movie, a film on the screen, changing continuously, and we cannot catch it. And when we stand on the side of the object of perception, such as river, mountain, nature, clouds, the sun, etc., we have the impression that they are more eternal, more solid, and will last forever. In reality, it is not like that. The Buddha taught that these are also impermanent because they are continuously changing. All dharma are indeed impermanent. The Buddha said they are like dreams, they are like the dew, fragile. They are like a thunder during the rain. The French poet Victor Hugo had seen this when his daughter drowned and died. He suffered a lot, and he found out that everything is impermanent. He wrote the famous novel Les Misérables, in which there was one sentence famous. He said, "Everything that men see is short, useless, and escaping." Wonderful recognition by Victor Hugo after such a huge suffering. So we who are practitioners, we should contemplate to see the impermanence of all things and see that mind and object of mind are one. The object of perception and the subject of perception do not exist independently of each other. So where the phenomenon we observe, whether it is physiological, psychological, or physical, it is not separate from our mind and is of one substance of our mind. It is manifested from individual and also from collective consciousness. That's what Thầy wrote in the book that was translated by me in English now. So from that, I would like to say goodbye and we're wishing you a wonderful week. Stay safe, stay strong, and be smiling. Wind is bowing out, and thank you all for your listening.